Are you prepared for an emergency? Are you prepared for the unsuspected? The answer is yes. This should be a refresher for you. And if the answer is no, I'm glad you tapped into another episode of Generational Investors. I'm the one and only Coach Flo. And if you are stopping by for the first time, please consider yourself hitting that like, hitting that subscribe once I share these tips on how to build an emergency fund. That's what this is all about. Looking to build for the unsuspected, prepare for the unsuspected, because life happens. And when I say it comes at you fast, it comes at you fast. All right, so without further ado, what can I say? These last few weeks, as the Storm Beryl went rapid across the Houston area, it really put a need, or it definitely put an emphasis on how you should be prepared for anything. All right, for anything. So, number one, got to have a budget. If you haven't started with a budget, that is definitely crucial and critical that you establish one. You got to know where is your money going, not where it went, where it's going. All right, consider living expenses. All right, with inflation being as high as it is, consider the lights, gas, food, which is huge expense, mortgage or rent, whether you stay in an apartment or home. Those are the necessities. And if you want to add internet, phone bill, that can be, but definitely when it's talking about food and a place to stay, and then even add transportation for gas if you have a vehicle, or if you are using public transit like the subway, depending on where you're from, or the bus. But all that has to be accounted for when you're including a budget, okay? The budget, it matters. That is something that you have to sit down and write down and jot down and just look at all your statements when it comes to just starting a budget if you haven't started one. Moving on to 2. What is your goal? That's the next thing you have to ask yourself. What is your goal? Is it to save to cover 3 to 6 months? Or if you can, we gotta go higher than that, 9 to 12 months. Because remember, this is inflation we're talking about. So all this, you got to ask yourself, loss of a job, is 3 to 6 months gonna cover that? If not, you might want to go over, like I said, 9 to 12 months. Repairs to a car. Things break down, especially cars, any vehicle. Or repairs to your house. Like I just said initially, the storm, the hurricane, it went rapidly. A lot of people had to replace a lot of different things, depending on whether it's the fence, whether it's your roof, anything that got lost. People lost food. I had to throw away a lot of food myself. So, and then you got life happens when it comes to death. Death is certain, okay? We hate talking about it, but somebody might pass away, or you might get hurt and have to claim disability. So you have to look at what's the goal for your emergency fund, because these are life stances. These are unsuspected things. Like, we know that things will happen and come up, so you just have to be more prepared, okay? So, like I said, people lose jobs all the time, layoffs. So, is it 3 to 6 months, or you want to go higher, 9 to 12 months? All right, so that's something to consider. And then, like I said, people get sick, so you might have to go through a medical procedure. And that is not cheap at all, okay? Especially depending on if you have insurance or not. Moving on to number 3. Look for an account that pays you back. I've said in previous episodes, high yield savings. All right, one more time, high yield savings. That is definitely something to look into. Okay, you have Discover, you have all types of online banking that is out there, Capital One, Regions, all different type of credit unions. Just do your due diligence when it comes to looking for high yield savings. All right, you can take that money that you will put in a regular bank, because like I said, regular banks charge, or I should say pay you 0.001. That's right, gotta laugh with it. 0.001. Why not take that same few thousands of dollars and park that into a high yield savings account and get paid for putting your money into a savings account that will pay you interest on top of what you have in the account. All right, and then just start small. Okay, start small. Set up a automatic transfer. That's $50 per check. That's $100 per check. If you can do that, if you can do more, $200 a check. Whatever you can do, but set up an automatic transfer that's going to help continue to build up that emergency fund, because you're going to need it. Regardless if you are married or you're single. If you have a family, if you don't. Either or. Especially if you have a family. You want to consider that emergency fund, because it's going to come in handy, I'll tell you. And then moving on to, remember, only tap into this account for emergencies. We're not trying to pay for any type of appliances, washer, dryer, TV, shoes, phone, because there's so many different phones come out, all these different iPhones. This is only for emergencies. Life, unsuspected happenings, loss of job, repairs on cars. Always need to have something stashed aside, because especially with cars, wheels, alternator, brakes, all that stuff, wear and tear. So you got to have something that's going to definitely come in the clutch, because definitely this day and time, society is living from check to check. That is fact. That is fact. We're one paycheck away from being just out of pocket. Okay, so definitely consider. Remember to tap into it. Only for emergencies. Okay, and then if you happen to tap into your emergency account, remember you gotta replenish. That means put that money back on in there. Okay, don't let your emergency fund go down into a certain level. Okay, you just gotta have a magic number in your head and say, you know what, I'm not gonna let my account get under this certain amount. Okay, that's how you gotta have that mindset. All right, because if you don't, your emergency account goes below the number that you thought that you want to have into, that's going to definitely hurt you in the long run. All right, so just be aware. Okay, be more aware, be more strategic when you are building up a emergency fund, especially if you haven't started. All right, because like I said, if you have already set aside and stashed some cash, hey, kudos to you. But for those who haven't started and they looking to get started, now is the time. Okay, now is the time. I'm telling you, it's no better time than now. All right, no better time than now to start to plan for the future and start to have a stash just in case life happens. All right, like I said, whether you got kids or you don't have kids, it's important that you prepare for emergencies, because life happens. All right, so you have enjoyed this episode. Let me know in the comments, have you started on your emergency fund? Yes or no? How much you have saved up or planning to save up? Just keep the comments positive. Keep them coming. I appreciate you for hitting that thumbs up, because we want to get the message out to more people. The more you hit these thumbs up and get these likes up, it's going to spread generational investors across the world. And that's the goal, to get more subscribers. I want you to consider being a generational investor today. I appreciate you. See you in the next one.